It's so simple. How didn't I have this in my house to begin with? Let's get started. So the thing about having a studio is you have to have lots of lights to make everything look good. The problem with that is it creates a lot of heat, and ACs are too noisy, and fans, you have to find a really quiet one. Well, today's sponsor, Dreo, has sent me their fan that they claim is actually quieter than my Dyson bladeless fan and has a built-in heater. Let's put them to the test. So I decided to test out the Dreo MC706 2-in-1 tower fan and heater. And I bought a Dyson about 5 years ago and spent $350 on it just to get a very quiet fan that I could leave on that hopefully the mics don't pick up that much. This fan compared to my Dyson model is actually 10 decibels quieter while still having a higher pressure air. But compared to the newest Dyson model that has a heater combo that's over 350 now, it actually is 20 decibels quieter. So that's really impressive just because of the fact that it's actually a lot quieter while getting actually stronger winds. And that's very important in my line of work, but also if you're a person that likes to sleep with a fan or a heater on, well, then that's also important because if you are a light sleeper, those can wake you up, whereas this kind of soothes you, but isn't too loud to distract you from going to sleep. Now here is a completely unscientific test because I did not have a decibel meter with me to see how loud they are, so I put them both on a 4 and just let them go. Now, hopefully the mics could pick up what I heard because it is a shotgun mic. I just pointed at it and saw what it could pick up. But for me in person, it's definitely quieter and noticeably so, especially at putting it more at the powerful ranges. I would say 1 or 2, you can hear a little bit of a difference, but once you get 4 and up, you could really hear a difference. It's a lot quieter. Then when it comes to how strong the wind can get when you crank it up all the way, it is a lot more powerful. And I'm really happy about this because it's more than double at 29.2 feet per second. That is way more than my 11.8 that I currently get on my Dyson fan. I did want to test this out, so I actually took it from my studio and put it in the living room for a couple of days, and it was a lot stronger, enough to cool my entire living room practically. So that is really impressive as I have a very big living room that connects to an open concept dining and kitchen. So the fact that I could fill it up could definitely save you, especially making my wife happy in the summer times when I typically crank up the AC a lot because I don't like being hot and it gets very hot in the summer. 2 other things that I found impressive while testing the living room was that 1, the strength actually goes up to 12 as opposed to 10 in most other fans. But also, I like the oscillation. So the ability to move left and right is actually wider than most, and that is really helpful to cover more of a range. So most fans get about 70 to 90 degrees oscillation. This model gets 120. So it can obviously cover a room not only because of its strength, but because of how wide it actually spreads that wind and cool air around, or obviously even when you turn the heater on, it will do the same. And speaking of the heater, I did accept this during winter time, and on the days when I'm not filming and more editing, it can get pretty cold in my studio, especially late at night. You know, we keep the heating to a minimum, but some nights my specific room gets really cold, and that's where the heater comes in. But the way this switches is actually really cool to me. The heating plate actually comes out in front of the fan to begin the heating process. This heating plate is actually called a PTC, which I learned is a positive temperature coefficient. It looks really cool when it goes right in front of the fan. I just love tech that actually stands out or looks kind of cool when it does something. And the PTC on this model is actually pretty big. It's 400 millimeters by 44 millimeters, which takes up almost the entire fan, which is smart because that way the heat is more well distributed. I can describe the heat as a cozy warmth. It just kind of hits your whole body in that snuggling feeling, and it just hits you just perfectly right and nice and cozy. And this is great because the fan I had before my Dyson was a 2-in-1, but it had the heater on the bottom only, which meant that I had warm feet, but the rest of my body was cold. So it didn't make perfect sense for me, which is why it didn't last very long. Finally, as someone that has opened up a lot of products this year, I will say the unboxing experience was quite easy. You just snap the bottom plates 2 sides together, snap the bottom of the fan, then cable manage, and you're done. I can really appreciate this because I felt like I did so much building this year that this was a lot easier just to get done out of the way. I was prepared for a long process, but I was very happy that it took less than 10 minutes, and that's throwing the box away and everything. I must admit, I'm not too picky when it comes to a fan. I like it to be easy to use, have controllers on the fan, have a remote control for easy quick access, at least 2 different modes, having strong cooling and eco mode or quieter mode, which this does have, as well as this one actually has some extras such as temperature control and also of course heating. Finally, specifically for me, I obviously need it to be quiet in my studio. But definitely the best part is, coming in at $169, it is $200 less than the Dyson I paid for a long time ago, and then a Dyson that I would currently buy with a cooling and heating solution. Which is actually kind of good, because after having it a few days in the living room, both my wife and my daughter have loved the heating and want one for that room as well, just to have a little bit of a heat when they want it. So how do you stay cool and warm in your home? I'm generally curious to see how many people have HVACs, fans, heaters. What kind of combination do you have in your home, and what do you feel is the best solution? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you as always so much for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.
Thank you so much again for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Also, follow me on social media at YouTube Tech Guy. And check out some more great tech videos on your screen right now.